Welcome to Infinity Reviews. Oh no! Oh my god! No, no way! Oh, it's Saber Oh, look at these fights! Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to another Infinity review on the channel, and today we'll be reviewing, in a non-spoiler capacity, the film Venom: The Last Dance, a movie that I didn't have the highest expectations for. I know what the Venom films are, I know what they want to be, but I was still very excited to see the movie. And to my point, it's what I expected from the movie. There were things that I did not totally like in the film, but there were also a lot of things I did like, and let's just kind of talk about those things. The story in this movie is there's a lot of stuff I think in the story that didn't have to be there. I'm going to try to say it in a non-spoiler capacity because we are going to do like a spoiler review a bit later. But basically, the premise of the film is, Venom and Eddie Brock are being hunted by Null because Null is looking for this key to free him from this prison that the symbiotes put him in, and he needs this key in order to escape. And he sends like these symbiote type monster creatures. They don't really tell you what they are. After Venom and Eddie, because they have this object embedded in themselves, in their brains, So this monster wants to kill both of them and take it so they can free Null from the prison. So you kind of have Eddie and Venom going on a globe-trotting adventure, kind of around California if you want to be exact. They end up in Vegas. They meet Rhys Ifans, going on a little road trip with him, and then it all culminates in a final battle at Area 51. And I'm gonna say, the first act was very slow. The first act, was slow. Second act was very, very slow. The second act felt like it was totally unnecessary for the film. The third act was good, but I enjoyed the third act. It was fun. It was like, oh, what's gonna happen? Are Venom and Eddie gonna survive this? That was a whole thing. It was like, are Eddie and Venom going to live through this? There's also in the movie, there's a lot of things that they don't finish on. What I mean by that is, there's a lot of plot holes. There's this whole thing, in the movie where Eddie's like, we're gonna get to New York. I'm gonna go meet a guy there who's gonna help us out. I'm like, oh, a guy, who's he gonna go meet? Is it gonna be J. Jonah Jameson, Peter Parker, maybe Mary Jane, who is he going to be? And they don't even, and the movie ends and we don't even see the person, they don't finish that plot hole in the movie, which was like, that's kind of weird because that kind of made that like a thing I was wondering about the entire time I was watching the film. And they just didn't go back to that, which I thought was a weird plot hole to leave from the film. Of course, what makes this movie is the relationship of Venom and Eddie Brock. Tom Hardy and Venom, that relationship always makes these movies so much fun. And they know, like, that's what makes the movies. So that's what they focus on, It's such a fun time just seeing the two of them bickering with each other. It's just so fun to see. And you also have some other characters in here. We also have some other characters in here. There are some other characters that do show up in the film. We also have Juno Temple from Ted Lasso, who plays a scientist called Dr. Payne, and she's kind of this one running this program, trying to understand what the symbiotes are and are they here to help or are they here to destroy us? And there's a lot of other symbiote appearances in this film, a lot of symbiote appearances, I don't really know all the names of the symbiote. The symbiotes I do know are probably Venom, Carnage, Toxin, Scream. Those are really the main symbiotes I really know. So I'm not someone who's really well versed in the Venom lore and all of that. Kind of what I know about Venom is what I've seen in animated shows, video games, and movies. That's kind of my extensive knowledge of the character of Venom. But you also have, some other characters who showed up. Miss Chen came back. It was really cool seeing Miss Chen. That was an unnecessary thing. They had a thing with her, in the movie. You see in the trailer where she dances with Venom. That moment was really, really cringe in my opinion. I don't know why that was in there. It just made me go oh my god, me rolling my eyes back, kind of covering myself. I don't know why that's in there. Then you had Chiwetel Ejiofor, who played A guy named Rex Strickland, who's kind of like this military general, who is kind of there with Juno Temple's character, Dr. Payne, and he wants to kill all the symbiotes. Where Juno Temple's like, no, we need to understand these creatures, because what if these creatures are not here to destroy us, but there are salvation to help save our world for what's coming. But Chiwetel Ejiofor was like, no, these things are bad. We gotta kill them all because humans are the only ones who should be here, and they're gonna invade us. And that's kind of like his whole thing, And there are some actually in the film. There are some very violent moments. There is blood in the movie. There is blood. There is some kind of gruesome kill. So they kind of really stretched that PG-13 rating, which I was okay with. Because I'm like, okay, this could have been a rated R movie, but I can see why it could have been rated R. I thought the character was your typical, like, general who's like, oh, bad, kind of doesn't like anything in the beginning, but then in the end he kind of comes to accept, these symbiotes are here to help. Another surprise character in the film was Rhys Ifans, who originally played Dr. Kirk Connors in The Amazing Spider-Man. He's not playing Kirk Connors here. He plays a character called Martin. And Martin, he is a guy who is obsessed with aliens. He wants to find aliens. He's driving over to Area 51 because there's another plot going on in the movie where they're destroying the top level of Area 51, because it's too much of a tourist attraction. And what's really happening is that the site above Area 51, that's not real. The real facility is under Area 51, where they're actually doing experiments on the symbiotes. And, that's where everyone's kind of really located. The scientists, the soldiers, that's where they're all located. And, his whole thing is like he wants to take his family to go see an alien. Of course, then they meet Eddie Brock on the way. And, they kind of have a moment with, Eddie. It's kind of I thought it was actually a good moment, where, Eddie's like looking at his family. He's like, and Venom tells him, Eddie, I can see that you would make a great father. And it kind of goes back to the point where it's like, Venom, those two are just best friends, but what if Eddie wants to start a family, where does Venom fit into that picture? And Eddie's like, we would do it together, buddy. We would do it together. And I could see, Eddie Brock, having a family, really, at in this point in the film, I think he wants to settle down in a way. He doesn't want to be on the run. He doesn't want to be fighting bad guys for the rest of his life. And that's just kind of the whole thing. That was kind of a really good moment, I felt like, in the film. A very, like, kind of not like an action moment, but kind of a moment, like, diving deep into the psyches of Venom and Eddie and what they, like, truly want. And then, of course, we have Stephen Graham, who played, like, the detective in the last movie. He shows up here, he plays a version of Toxin, who is a symbiote in the comic. And he kind of he has a small role, he kind of has the role of explaining who Null is, why Null's coming, why Null wants to be here, why Null is after the black symbiote, aka Venom. And that's kind of his whole thing. Doesn't get much to do, definitely doesn't get much to do with the film, except just do exposition. And then the last character I'll say, who we've all been wondering, who's Null? Well, I can confirm, you guys. If you want to click away right here, you can click away. But Null is played by Andy Serkis. Yes, Andy Serkis, the director of Venom 2, and one of, I think, the best mocap actors that is in the business today. And he's also just such a great actor. He plays Null, the symbiote god. Null, he's definitely a background character in the film. He's the looming threat, where all these symbiote monsters are kind of the huge threat in the film. So they're trying to prevent, Venom from dying. These symbiote aliens from killing Venom, because Null, like I said, Null needs this like kind of thing that has bonded with Eddie and Venom over time, that created kind of like this key to like unlocking him from. It's kind of hard to explain without seeing the movie, but it's like this key that unlocks him to go and be free so he can rule the universe. And they mentioned many times that Null is actually not trapped in their home planet. He is trapped in like this alternate black dimension. And he's a very menacing character. We meet him right away in the film. And of course there are some post-credit scenes dealing with the character. But they're very little like post-credit scenes, just like saying like I'll be back. But I think I want to see Null again. I want to see what they're gonna do with this character. It's possible. We could not get another Venom movie, but another movie based on another symbiote. There's so many other symbiotes out there, We have they have yet to use one of my favorite symbiotes, that is Scream. You know, Scream, of course, was in the Spider-Man 2 video game. I love her design. I love Scream's look. And it would be really cool, to see, another symbiote make an appearance. Maybe they go do something with some other characters who got trapped in the symbiotes. We'll talk about more about those theories I have during. We're gonna do a live stream of a spoiler review. We're gonna do a live stream. Yes, I haven't done a live stream since Deadpool and Wolverine, and I kind of just want to do a live stream talking about the future of this franchise and even Spider-Man as well. But overall, guys, I'm gonna have to give the film a 6 out of 10 because I did not hate it. There were times when I was laughing and I was having a good time watching this movie. I was laughing. I'm not gonna lie, I was laughing watching this movie. And someone enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I think, like all the other Venom movies, the critics hate it, but the audience seems to really enjoy the movie. It's not the worst movie I've seen this year, guys. It's not the worst. I actually had a good time watching it. Sure, it's not as good as Venom 1 or Venom 2. It's probably not the best of the franchise, but it's still a fun time. And if you're on the fence of seeing the Rotten Tomatoes score and saying, oh, I don't really want to go see that, I'm like, just listen to me. Sometimes the critics aren't going to be you. You're not a critic. You're a person who's going to go watch a movie. This is just a fun, like I said in my Out of Fear review, this is just a fun popcorn flick movie. So I do give it 6 out of 10. And I think if you guys are fans of Spider-Man, if you're a fan of this Venom franchise, you're going to have a fun time. And even if you're a fan of Tom Hardy, go see the movie. It's a very, very fun movie. I really, really enjoyed it. It's not the best movie. There are things that don't need to be in the film, but it's still a very, very entertaining time at the movies. But what do you guys think? Are you going to check out Venom: The Last Dance this weekend? Or do you think you're going to wait till it comes out on streaming? I personally think you guys should go check it out. It's a fun time. I know a lot of people, I've heard people say, oh, it's as bad as Joker 2. This movie is not as bad as Joker 2. This movie is actually watchable over Joker 2. It's actually a fun time. I was actually laughing in this movie. There's a lot of funny moments. Most of the moments come with Eddie and Venom. Sure, there's some stuff, that's kind of cringeworthy. Sure, there's some stuff that didn't mean in the film. But I think, if you're just an average movie fan, you're going to enjoy the film. So, guys, leave your comments down below. Like the video, comment on the video, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you next time, guys. Peace.